Now let us see arc welding. So arc welding, if you go back to the classification, I have written under liquid state welding. Okay. So I always suggest take some inference from the name, like what can you get from the name. So obviously it is arc welding, it is under liquid state welding. So most probably what is going to happen is an arc is going to be established, and because of the heat of the arc, the base metals are going to melt and their welding is going to take place. Okay, so let us see what is happening behind arc welding. In arc welding, we'll use one electrode and this is the workpiece. Both will be given a power supply. Let's suppose we are using a DC power source. Okay, we are using a DC power source. And as of now, I am giving electrode a negative charge and the workpiece a positive charge. Okay, many of the students have done the arc welding in their colleges, they get confused. So when we did arc welding, the workpiece was not connected to any power source and all. Many students have doubt. When the workpiece is not connected to power source, there is a very high chance that the table on which you have kept the workpiece, that table is connected to the power source. Okay, so either the workpiece or the table will be connected to the power source. Now, what is going to happen is, initially, you are going to touch the electrode with the workpiece. When you are going to touch the electrode with the workpiece, the circuit will get completed, and because of the completion of the circuit, the electrons will start flowing, the current will start flowing. Okay, so just for a fraction of a second, you will touch the electrode to the workpiece, the flow of current will start, and then you will break the contact. When you break the contact, what will happen is, the electrons will still try to flow through the electrode. Now, in between, air is there, right? In between, air is present. So what will happen is that flow of electrons, it will ionize the air. And in between, here, what will happen is, because of the ionization of air, a flow will be established, a flow of electrons from negative to positive charge, and a flow of positive ions from the positive to negative charge. Okay, so this flow will be established. Let's say I am taking a very magnified image. of the electrode and the workpiece. Okay, so here I have taken the electrode as negative and the workpiece as positive. So what will happen is, from electrode to workpiece, the negative particles will flow. Okay, these are flowing in this direction, and from the workpiece to the electrode, positive ions are going to flow. Okay, the flow of positive ions is in this direction. Now, what will happen is, these electrons will strike the workpiece. And when they strike the workpiece, heat will be generated. Similarly, these positive ions will strike the electrode, and when they strike the electrode, the heat will be generated. Okay, Danish is saying, please repeat. Okay, I'll explain entire thing. We have given opposite charges to electrode and the workpiece. So since they are in opposite charge, when we connect them, when we touch them, a flow of current will be established. Okay. Now, as soon as you have touched them, you will break the contact. When you break the contact, the electrons will try to flow. Because they are trying to flow, what will happen is, they will ionize the air. And whatever air is present in between, it will get broken into negative and positive ions. It will get broken into electrons and positive ions. Okay. Now, the electrons will flow from the negative electrode to positive. They will strike the positive electrode, and positive ions will flow from the positive electrode to negative. and they will strike the negative electrode. Because of striking of the electrons and because of striking of the positive ions, heat will be generated. Okay, understood? Okay, so write down the heat required to melt or join the plates is obtained by an electric arc. Next, write down the working principle. The electrode and the workpiece are given opposite charges. This establishes a flow of current. When they are brought in contact. And when the contact is broken, high velocity electrons are generated at the cathode, and positive ions are generated at the anode. The electrons get attracted towards the anode and start moving. These electrons possess very high kinetic energy. And when they strike the anode, the kinetic energy is converted into heat energy, and the heat is generated at the anode. Similarly, the positive ions generated at the anode strike the cathode, and heat is generated at the cathode. Okay. Now Danish is asking, sir, are these positive ions that you are saying, are these ions of the workpiece? No, Danish, the ions are not of the workpiece, they are the ions of the air. Whatever air is present in between the electrode and the workpiece, that air is getting ionized. Okay. The positive ion of Fe2+ is going to be very, very heavy. Okay. So these are not the positive ions of the work material or the electrode. Now, the electrons will have higher velocity compared to the positive ions. Why electrons will have higher velocity compared to the positive ions? Because electrons are light in weight. And positive ions are heavier. So therefore the electrons will attain higher velocity, and when they strike whichever portion they are striking, for example in this case they are going to strike the workpiece, whichever portion they are striking, in that portion more heat will be generated. Okay, so please continue writing. The velocity of electrons, the velocity of electrons, the velocity of electrons is much higher, is much higher than the velocity of ions, than the velocity of ions, than the velocity of ions. The velocity of electrons is much higher than the velocity of ions. Therefore the heat generated, therefore the heat generated, therefore the heat generated at anode, at anode is much higher, is much higher, is much higher than at the cathode, than at the cathode, than at the cathode. The ratio of heat generation, the ratio of heat generation, the ratio of heat generation at anode to cathode, at anode to cathode is 2:1, is 2:1, is 2:1. In this case, the one that I have drawn, which one is the anode, which one is the cathode? First tell me, electrode is anode or the workpiece is anode? The workpiece is anode. The positive charge is the anode. Okay. And electrode is the cathode. Electrode is the cathode. Okay. Have you drawn the diagram? So even during my college time, we had arc welding in the college. Okay. So what happens is, the shielding, the glass that they use, the protective glass that they give us, from that the visibility is not very good. Okay. You won't be able to see properly like where the arc is moving, where you are moving the electrode. So some of my friends, what they did was, they removed the protective glass and they simply did the welding, okay, without using any protective glass. They were very much happy that we are the real mech guys, we are the real mechanical people, we didn't need any protection and all. Next day, morning when they woke up, they were not able to see anything. They were not able to see anything, they were just seeing darkness. Okay. Then they had to go to the doctor gave some droplet, and throughout the day, like, they were not able to see anything. By evening or something, their vision got okay. Okay. So, that much dangerous is the environment. The reason is, what happens is, in between the flow of electrons and positive ions, sometimes the electrons and positive ions will collide with each other. They will collide with each other. When they collide with each other, very large amount of heat is generated. It is generated in the range of 5000 to 6000 degrees Celsius. And at these high temperatures, UV and infrared rays are emitted. And these rays may damage your eyes. That's why we need to use the protective glasses for doing the welding. We need to use the protective glasses for doing the welding. Okay. So further continue, please keep writing. Sometimes when the electrons and positive ions, Gaurav is asking why heat generated at anode is more. Gaurav, in the second statement that we have written, please have a look. What I am saying is, the electrons attain higher velocity. Okay, so they will have high kinetic energy. Because of high kinetic energy, they will strike with higher impact energy. So whichever surface, electrons will always strike on the anode. Therefore, more heat will be generated on the anode. Compared to that, the positive ions will possess less velocity. They will have less kinetic energy, and because of the less kinetic energy, they are going to strike with less impact energy. So, the positive ions are always going to strike the cathode. Positive ions are always going to strike the cathode. Therefore, less heat will be generated at the cathode. Okay. Yes, because of the less mass, the electrons have high velocity. Okay. So, continue writing. Sometimes when electrons and positive ions collide, with each other, their kinetic energy is spontaneously converted into heat energy. This results in sparking. And very high temperatures. This results in sparking and very high temperatures in the range of 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. Due to this high temperatures, ultraviolet and infrared rays will be emitted. And therefore to see the arc, the welder must wear safety goggles. Abhimanyu, arc is a continuous flow of electrons. Okay, spark is just a lightning that you are going to see in between for some time. Okay, spark is not continuous, arc is continuous. So, previous case we had taken electrode as negative and the workpiece as positive, right? Let us take the another case where the electrode is positive and the workpiece is negative. So here the electrode is negatively charged, so electrode is the cathode and workpiece is the anode. Okay, this one is called as DCSP. When the setup is like this, it is called as DCSP. What is the full form of DCSP? Okay, when the electrode is positively charged, and the workpiece is negatively charged, it is called as DCRP. This one is called as DCRP, direct current reverse polarity. Okay, very important. This full form is very important. And like, what is the definition? For example, if I say direct current straight polarity, what happens in direct current straight polarity? The electrode is negatively charged and the workpiece is positively charged. This you have to remember. Same thing here. When I say DCRP, what happens? The electrode is positively charged and the workpiece is negatively charged. This thing you have to remember. In the exam, they may not even give you the full form. They will just give you these abbreviations. They will just tell what happens in DCRP. They will just ask you what happens in DCSP. So you have to remember the full form and you have to remember the diagram also. Okay. It is having one more name. Saurav is asking any trick. Saurav, I don't know any trick for this. Okay. This is so important that anyhow you remember it only. Next is DC is also called as DCEN, direct current electrode negative. Direct current electrode negative. So I was asking how you used to remember it. Sort of just by practice. Many things by practice you will remember. Okay. Direct current electrode negative. So what will be the opposite name for this? Or DCEP. Direct current electrode positive. Direct current electrode positive. Okay. One thing you can try. I can't assure if it will be helpful. See, when you read the name electrode, what comes into your mind? Electrons. Electrons are negatively charged, right? So, if we are talking about normal practice, whenever something is normal, we call it as straight, right? So, in straight, electrode, the electro will be related to the electron. In reverse, the electro will not be related to the electron, it will be related to the positive ions. Okay, that way you can remember if it is helpful in any way. Okay, now let us see the ratio of heat generation. The ratio of heat generation. Heat generation, what will be the ratio? Heat generation workpieces to electrode. What will be the ratio? 2:1. 2:1. Why 2:1? Because the workpiece is anode, electrode is a cathode. Right? Here, the heat generation workpiece is to electrode will be 1:2. Will be 1:2. Okay. So, if I ask you out of DCSP and DCRP, which one you are going to use for welding of high melting point metals? Out of DCSP and DCRP, which one you are going to use for the welding of high melting point metals? DCSP. Why DCSP? Because you can see more heat is generated in the workpiece. Okay, so if you are using high melting point metal, we'll need more heat in the workpiece, right? So, used for. Okay. If I ask you, what about the depth of penetration? What do you understand by depth of penetration? Let's suppose this is the workpiece. In one case, I am able to get molten metal till this depth. In another case, I am able to get molten metal till this depth. Okay. So the depth up to which I am able to get the molten metal is called as depth of penetration. Okay. So I have two depth of penetrations, 1 and 2. 1 is for which one? 2 is for which one? Anurag is saying DCSP for 1. Vishis is also saying the same thing. Very good, guys. DCSP for 1. Why? Because again the same reason. Since more heat is generated in the workpiece, you will get the molten metal till higher depth. You will get molten metal till higher depth. That's why this first case is telling us about the DCSP. So the third point is higher depth of penetration. And here we will have lower depth of penetration. Lower depth of penetration. So just find some corner, like on the top portion of the margin or on the bottom portion of the margin, just write down what is depth of penetration. Please write down what is depth of penetration. The depth of penetration is the depth in the workpiece, up to which we are able to produce molten metal. Okay. Now let us talk about the fourth point. Fourth point is the rate of deposition. The rate of deposition. Let's suppose this is the electrode, this is the workpiece. So the electrode is going to melt and it is going to get deposited onto the parent metal, right? The electrode is going to melt and it is going to get deposited on the parent metal. The rate at which the electrode is depositing, is called as rate of deposition. So out of the two cases, in which case we'll get higher rate of deposition? Okay, everyone is saying DCRP. Very good, guys. In DCRP, we'll get higher rate of deposition. Why? Because more heat is generated in the electrode and less heat is generated in the workpiece. Okay. So fourth point is lower rate of deposition. Here we have higher rate of deposition. Rate of deposition is good or bad? One way it is good only, right? If you are using the electrode as a filler material, if you are getting higher rate of deposition, your welding speed will increase, right? If you are able to deposit more material per unit time, you can complete the welding at a higher speed. Okay, copied? Okay. So Anurag is asking, sir, rate of deposition is good or bad? In a way, the rate of deposition is good. Why? Because let's suppose you are welding here. Okay. So you are depositing the electrode. So if the rate of deposition is high, you will be able to deposit large amount of materials. And since you are able to deposit quickly large amount of materials, your welding speed will increase. Otherwise, if the rate of deposition is low, what will happen? You will have to keep the electrode here for some time. Then you will move slowly. Then you will have to keep the electrode here for more time. So this will reduce the welding speed. Understood? Have you copied this? Sunil is asking why high in second. Sunil, it is high in second because more heat is generated in the electrode. And here less heat is generated in the electrode. That's why in this case the rate of deposition will be high. Then Nitish is asking, sir, since the kinetic energy is more in DCSP, the rate of deposition is also more in case of DCSP, right? No, Nitish. Kinetic energy is same in both the cases. The kinetic energy of electrons will be same in both the cases. What is happening here is, here in this case the electron is striking the workpiece. Therefore more heat is generated on the workpiece. See, electrons will get attracted towards the positive, right? So here electrons are striking on the workpiece, so more heat is generated on the workpiece. Here the electrode is positively charged. The electrons will get attracted towards the electrode. Okay, so this time the electrons are going to strike the electrode. Therefore, more heat will be generated in the electrode in this case. Okay, so in this case, more heat is generated on the electrode. In this case, less heat is generated on the electrode. So therefore, in this case, the electrode will melt at higher rate. In this case, the electrode will melt at lower rate. So therefore, in this case, the deposition rate will be high. In this case, the deposition rate will be low. Understood? Just write down what is rate of deposition. What is rate of deposition? In both the cases, you will get uniform strength. It will mostly depend upon like which workpiece you are using. If you are using high melting point workpiece, you will try to go for DCSP. If you are using low melting point, then you will try to go for DCRP. Okay. Yeah, differences end here. So, have you written this? Please write down rate of deposition. Rate of deposition is the rate. Rate of deposition is the rate. At which the electrodes are melting. At which the electrode is melting. And depositing over and depositing over the weld. And depositing over the weld is the rate at which the electrode is melting and depositing over the weld. Okay. Now we have seen two cases. Both the cases we are using DC power source. What is the opposite of DC? Don't tell me Marvel. What is the opposite of DC? AC. So we can use AC power source also. AC is alternating current. So what happens in AC? What will happen here is the polarity keeps changing. For example, if now the electrode is negatively charged and the workpiece is positively charged, in the next cycle the electrode will be positively charged and the workpiece will be negatively charged. Again in the next cycle it will be negative, it will be positive, negative. Like this, the polarity will keep on changing. After how much time will it change? It depends on the frequency. If I am saying an alternating current of 50 Hertz frequency, okay, it means the cycle time is 1 by 50. What is 1 by 50? It is 0.02 second. So after every 0.02 second, the polarity is going to change. Okay. Now, for 0.02 second, the electrode is positively charged. For next 0.02 second, the electrode is negatively charged. So alternately they are becoming cathode and anode, like that. Okay. So ratio of heat generation, workpiece is to electrode, will be how much? 1:1. Will be 1:1. Okay. And if we see the diagram of the depth of penetration, so this diagram also you have to copy. Okay. Please write down. In case of AC, all conditions, in case of AC, all conditions will be in between DCSP and DCRP. Okay. So what I am saying is, let's take this cycle. In this cycle, the electrode and the workpiece, electrode is negative, workpiece is positive. So what is the ratio of heat generation? Electrode 1 times the heat will be generated. Workpiece 2 times the heat will be generated. Go to the next cycle. Here 2 times the heat will be generated. Here 1 times the heat will be generated. Here 1, 2, 2, 1. Like this, it is continuously changing. So overall, if you see the average, equal amount of heat is generated in both the cases, right? Here, if you see, out of 4 cases, 6 by 4. Here, 6 by 4. Amount of heat generated is same in both the cases. Understood? Next is arc recovery time. Now, from the name, you can understand how much time it is taking to recover the arc. It is not exactly the recovering the arc. It is a time taken for establishing the arc. How much time it took to establish the arc. Now, the thing is, out of DC and AC, this arc recovery time is going to be critical in any one. Which one will it be critical? Out of DC and AC, which one will it be critical? The arc recovery time is the time required to establish the arc. It is going to be critical in case of AC. Why in case of AC? Because you can see here, and in AC after every 0.02 second, just for example, for 50 Hertz example, after every 0.02 second, the polarity is changing. So if the arc recovery time is high, let's say arc recovery time is also 0.2 second, 0.02 second, sorry. Okay, so you have kept the electrode, you have kept the workpiece. Now, as of now it is 0 second, now it is 0.01 second, now it is 0.02 second. Just now it was going to establish the arc. Just now the arc was going to be established, but all of a sudden what happened is the polarity changed. Again it will have to start from 0. So 0.01, 0.02. Again, before establishing of the arc, the polarity will change. So because of this, the polarity will not be established. Because of this, the arc will not be established. Okay. Hence, to establish the arc, we'll have to keep the arc recovery time very, very low compared to the cycle time. We'll have to keep the arc recovery time low compared to the cycle time. How much low we keep? Less than or equal to half of the cycle time. So what will happen? For example, if the cycle time is 0.02 second, the arc recovery time will be less than or equal to 0.01 second. So before changing of the polarity, some arc will be established, and by using that arc, you are going to complete the welding. It is not a major problem in case of DC, because whichever arc you have established in the beginning, same arc you are going to use throughout the welding. Okay, but in case of AC, the arc keeps on changing. Okay, it is just like you are downloading something. Okay, you reached 90%, and then all of a sudden internet connection went, so it became 0. Again you are downloading something, it reached 90%, internet connection went away, again it became 0. Okay, so because of this you are not able to download. Something similar is happening here. Yeah, recovery means the time taken for establishing of the arc. Okay, so start writing. The time taken for establishing the arc, between tip of the electrode and the workpiece is called as arc recovery time. In case of DC, because the terminals are permanently fixed, the arc recovery time will not influence the welding. In case of AC, because the terminals are continuously changing, the arc recovery time is more critical. For establishing an effective arc, for establishing an effective arc, the arc recovery time should be less than or equal to half of the cycle time. Even then the arc, okay, wait, don't write. Vishal is asking even then the arc will be intermittent. Yeah, in a way it is intermittent, but the time gap is so less that it will appear to us to be continuous. Okay, just 0.01 second like that. So it will appear to us to be continuous. Okay. Further write down. The above condition can be achieved. By increasing the voltage of power supply. Due to this, the reaction time for generation of electrons, electrons and ions is reduced. Hence the arc recovery time is reduced. Okay. Vishal is asking by increasing what? By increasing the voltage of power supply. The reaction time for generating the electrons and ions is reduced. Hence the arc recovery time is reduced. Okay. By increasing the voltage of power supply, the reaction time for generating the electrons and ions is reduced. Hence arc recovery time is reduced. Hence the minimum voltage of power supply is about 30 volts, is about 3030 volts, and maximum voltage of power supply is limited to 80 volts for the safety of welder. Okay, minimum is limited to 30 to reduce the arc recovery time. Okay, so another thinking would be, sir, we can keep very high voltage, so arc recovery time will be minimum. But the thing is, if you keep the arc recovery time very high, there are chances that the welder may get electric shock. Okay, there will be high potential difference. If the potential difference is high, there are high chances of shock. Therefore, the maximum voltage is generally limited to 80 volts. Okay.